God is good, and today we're going to do a review of the Grandia series, and depending on how you decide to play it, changes it quite a bit, because let's just get this going, alright? So, if you are new to the Nathan Napalm channel, and you love RPGs, JRPGs, MMORPGs, especially the old ones, Pantheon Rise of Fallen especially, then please consider subscribing, because that's what we cover here at the Nathan Napalm channel. Now listen, here's the deal. So, you can get Grandia, or Grandia, I'm going to say Grandia, because that's what I've said all my life, okay? You can get this as a pack together for the Switch, for the Nintendo Switch, or you can buy them separately on Steam. So that's how they come. But anyway, we're going to break these down as two separate reviews for Grandia and for Grandia 2. Now here's the deal, guys. Grandia originally came out on the Sega Saturn, which is my favorite console of all time. I loved the Sega Saturn. I was just getting to that age when the Sega Saturn came out, to where I was, I was kind of in that in-between, almost an adult, kind of thing, and I enjoyed it so much. The 3D games, the 2D games, it was just a wonderful system, and it had so many classics on it. The problem is I never got to play Grandia on the Sega Saturn. I didn't get to play it till it came out on the PlayStation, and if I'm remembering correctly, it was mainly because I don't think it was even translated to English and released in the North American market. Pretty sure I'm right about that. But in any case, I didn't get to play it to PlayStation. However, I always drooled over how much better the game looked on the Sega Saturn compared to the PlayStation, because, spoiler alert, the Sega Saturn was actually a better console. Did it have all the good games PlayStation had? No. Was it actually the console better? Could it pull off better things? Absolutely. If the developers knew how to make games, because it was a ridiculously hard to develop for system. It was a pain in the butt, alright? Let's just say that. But in any case, I did play it on PlayStation, and it was a great game. I had a lot of fun. It was an adventure, And what we're getting on the Steam release and the Switch release is we're getting this remaster, where they've cleaned up the textures. They've cleaned up it's kind of like a filter effect, to be honest, on the actual 2D sprites, because this is the kind of game where it's a 2D hand-drawn sprites, right? Really beautiful sprites, though. Think 32-bit era awesome JRPG sprites, and they kind of just put this filter on them, and it works. Though, it looks good. It doesn't look cheesy, right? You can get some of these filters and just throw them on an emulator. It looks a lot better than that, or at least like a professional did it, that kind of thing. But it looks really good. They really cleaned it up, and the textures, I gotta say, when it loaded up for the first time, and it's kind of zooming through the city, the opening of the game, I was noticing, I was like, wow, this looks way better. I played this, back then. I played it on an emulator where, it cleans up some of the edges kind of thing, and this was definitely an improvement. So here's the deal. This game is perfect for you, especially if you never played it. You have to play Grandia, especially the first one, okay? This is a really, really good JRPG. It's kind of one of those stories, and I'm not gonna, no spoilers, okay? But it's just kind of one of those stories, it's kind of like growing up into adulthood, and then, the story gets pretty hardcore, and, it starts out very light, and then it just builds up to that climax, and it's a really good game. Good combat, everything about it is pretty good. Now, of course, you play as a character named Justin. He goes off on an adventure like you would expect with his childhood friend, you know what I mean? Kind of the classic JRPG kind of thing. And they're actually going out to explore, to kind of uncover these secrets of these lost civilizations, that kind of thing. The execution of this story is really where it takes off, though. It's really where it's going to grip you, okay? The voice acting in the game is sometimes really good. Other times, it is ridiculously bad. It's got that late 90s kind of vibe to it. If you were playing RPGs back then you probably know what I mean. Now, for people who just can't stomach that, I personally enjoy things like that, but if you can't stomach it, it does have the option to switch over to Japanese voices, and I know a lot of people like that and enjoy that, so it's there for you. This game moves fast, in my opinion, okay? You're gonna spend a little bit of time in that very opening area, kind of learning the game kind of thing, and it kind of developing characters for quite a decent amount of time, but then once you get out it's like you're just going to new places non-stop, and it is pretty fast-paced in my opinion from there. Now, the battle system does use the active time battle system with a spin on it. Okay, so it's not just a copy-paste of the Final Fantasy formula or anything like that. It's a very enjoyable battle system. To be clear, I can finish this entire game and not really be bored with the battle system. Now, I enjoy active time battle system RPGs, though. If you don't, I'm not sure how that's going to go over for you. But if you're planning on getting one of these two games on Steam, definitely, and I'm going to get to Grandia 2 in a minute, but I would recommend Grandia 1 first. Do you need to play Grandia 1 to play Grandia 2? Absolutely not. However, I do personally believe that Grandia 1 is superior. Now, let's talk a little bit about Grandia 2. So Grandia 2 is also a good game. This game originally released on the Dreamcast, and I also played it back at release. As a matter of fact, it was the first RPG I played on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast didn't have a ton of RPGs. It had a few. You know, one in particular really good, which would be Skies of Arcadia, right? Ridiculously good RPG. But Grandia 2 was the first RPG I played on the Dreamcast, and it was a good RPG, man. It really satisfied my thirst for an RPG at that time, and I really wanted one so bad on the Dreamcast, because before the Dreamcast had a Nintendo 64, and we all know the disaster of wanting an RPG, especially a JRPG style, on the Nintendo 64. So the Dreamcast came, and finally I got some RPGs, and Grandia 2 is the first one I played, and I loved it. And it is a really good game. I just don't think it's as good as the first Grandia. So this one you play is like a mercenary guy, right? And he's kind of that I don't give a crap kind of attitude dude. And he gets stuck with this goody two-shoes kind of church songstress lady, and that's just his job, is to escort her, and they're not getting along. And it's kind of comical, but throughout the story, you do see their characters grow, and it is good. All right, that's what I'm gonna say. It does actually. By the end, I thought it was a really good story, and I really enjoyed it. And it has a lot of good characters in it, a lot of character building, and it is a really good game. I actually have played through this game more than once, maybe 3 times. And once again, in this version, they've cleaned up the textures, and that's really all they needed to do, because this game still kind of holds up. In my opinion, the graphics style kind of holds up. It looks pretty good. And when you think about the other games that were out at that time, and you compare the graphics to this game, graphically speaking alone, to other RPGs that were coming out on the PlayStation, man, this one was just way ahead of its time. And also, this was kind of the final Grandia that was ridiculously good, okay? After this, I feel like the series really fell off. So I would definitely say that both of these games are worth a buy. Just their classic JRPG goodness. Good stories, good characters. They're funny, they don't take themselves too seriously, but they also do have pretty serious plot lines, in my opinion, and there's enough surprises in the story to keep you fully engaged. I really doubt you're going to get bored at any moment in this game, in either one of these games. The battle system really holds up. There's a lot to it, so you can kind of be strategic about it, and you can kind of see when your opponent's attacking and when you're going to attack, and you can do these certain attacks to it does less damage, but it knocks your enemy back to where if they were about to cast a spell and you're quick enough, you can actually cancel that spell. You can knock them back so that your other guy can finish them off, and you come up with all kinds of little strategies. And honestly, the combat holds up from beginning to end. You're really gonna have a lot of fun with this, especially if you're into the active battle system kind of thing, added with the kind of twists that Grandia did. And I think the art direction is on point for both games. Yes, they did clean up the graphics on both of them. I don't even feel like it was 100% necessary, because these games really held up, honestly, from the way they were launched. But seeing a little bit of polish and all that kind of thing, they're definitely solid, and they're definitely a remaster, okay? Awesome game. I hope you play it, I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy it. And remember that they are available on the Switch, but on the Switch you get both Grandia 1 and Grandia 2 as one purchase, but you do have to purchase them separately if you're buying them for PC on Steam. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you'd like more, there's plenty more on my channel. And until next time, guys, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm it's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize. But just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.